So I think in this kind of process there is a different moment, different step, And so I'm coming from photography, so it's easier for me coming from photography when you have the moment when you do the photograph and the moment with you have to enlarge it, you have to work in a lab and you have to do the printing, etc. So it was not completely different. But so step by step, which means so the first moment is to do these drawings I'm doing here. This takes a lot of time because I'm thinking in the process. So it's not only a drawing; it's a drawing, a kind of concept, but also I'm thinking about what is going to happen to this drawing later. And so I like this moment when I'm drawing, when I'm working on myself, doing this drawing. It's a moment very impulsive, warm, with much more intensity, nervosity, and I have to fight, but with me, against me, with me. And after that, when I decided to select the drawing, so there is another part very interesting, but much more collaborative with different people. It means the moment when I scan the drawing to finish it with my assistant, after I select the colors with specialist ink, and after I go to the silkscreen company to work on the machine to enlarge this small drawing to something much more important in terms of size and materiality. So it's like a walk, and at the end you have to know the kind of apotheose of the piece. And I like all the process. It's close to a movie, yeah. Because when you are writing the script, and after you have to do the set, to collaborate with the technician, and at the end you have the film. Yes, first of all, so I'm interested to do art, and I try to not to innovate in the sense of the avant-garde, but I try to propose something different for the viewer, for the audience. And I spent a lot of time to explore from photography to sculpture, and now this drawing, the painting, how we can propose different experience of vision, so to visual experience. And in this thinking, in this work too, to find a way to propose something new. You have different parameters. So it's a medium in itself, but it's also material, and it's also color. It's also the experience of vision coming from the viewer. So I was really interested to use the specificity of photography, like reflection, like depth of field, like transparency, and things like that. So focus, out of focus. So. And I put this kind of specificity not on photography, but on the painting field. I say sometimes I like to look to my paintings like photography, and I like to look photographs to look the photograph like it was painting. I like to cross, this kind of perception and to do something new. And in this case, in this field, the color is really important. And connection in between the plexiglass and the ink, and this quality of ink to be transparent and fresh when it's on the plexiglass, behind the plexiglass, give a really freshness to the color and to the piece. So you have this, but it is really flat, So because the color, the ink behind the plexiglass, it's like a film. It's really flat. And I like also this idea to begin from a very impulsive, expressionist in a way drawing, and to finish with something like much more frozen, much more like cool. And but when you look carefully, you can look to the process. No, it's not cool for cool, but it's cool. But behind, you can look to how the light is in the piece, also the gesture, the image, the form, the shape, and the color. I have not theory or I have not a program in my work. Sometimes also it's connected with an exhibition I have to organize or have to do. Also make sometimes relation with the space. Sometimes, I visit a space or a museum, invited, and suddenly I look to the space and it's a fantastic space, and say, so maybe it will be really nice to do a nice sculpture for this space. This is sometimes, the thing. And but sometimes I like the site. I decide to do 3 sites, and I was interested in sculpture to do this kind of island when you can walk around the piece. You have not foreground or background. It's not like so. And I did a lot of pieces like that. I like the kind of horizontality, the piece floating from the ground, and to use also a very signalétic color. And also in terms of material, I was always very interested to use very brutal material like cotton steel, like this kind of heavy. When you look at it, it seems quite light, and after when you approach, when you are closer, suddenly you realize that there is a real weight. This is also, for me, it's really important, the physical presence of a piece. And I like, for that reason, most of the time I just have done now in my first retrospective in Moscow, in Russia. And I like to cross, and to mix in the same room sometimes sculpture with kind of physical presence, close to very light painting on plexiglass or photograph. I think this enriches also the work. And it gives also different keys to the viewer and to generate what is my work, in connection with the fact that I like layers, sedimentation, it's kind of stratification in my work, from the sculpture, photography, the layers from painting. So it's like, it kind of generates kind of millefeuille,